Foxy's Bite, a Five Nights at Freddy's fanfic. Foxy, the pirate, would have done anything to get his hands on the security guard. Not only did he refuse to wear his costume, he was always stopping Freddy and Foxy's other friends from partying. Bonnie always got the door slammed in his face, and Chica was always getting stuck just outside the right door. Freddy wasn't even allowed to get close to the right door. Foxy thought this was very mean. Whenever he got a chance, he would run as fast as he could to make it to the left door. Sometimes he'd even shove Bonnie out of the way just to get there in time. But the door was already closed when Foxy got there. No matter how much he pounded and squealed, he could never get inside to the security guard. This made Foxy very sad. He was the fastest animal in the whole pizzeria, and no matter how hard he tried, he just couldn't catch that rule-breaking security guard. Sometimes, Foxy would plot to grab the security guard on his way to the office, when it was just getting dark out. But, with his eye patch and curtains in the way, it was very hard for Foxy to see out of Pirate Cove. And so, Foxy the pirate, sole resident of the hardly Pirate Cove, sat quietly at his stage every day, waiting for darkness, waiting for the day that he could finally put that meanie guard back in his costume. ... Then something very strange happened. One day, when it was all quiet in the land of Freddy Fazbear, Foxy awoke to the rustling of curtains. The first thing he thought was that somebody was coming to see him, standing alone in Pirate Cove. This happened a lot to Foxy. Little kids always thought it was cool to see a former member of the Fazbear crew gathering dust behind the veil of the stage curtains. They thought that Foxy looked rather cool with his rusty hook and browning fur. Foxy did not think that looked cool. But today, there was no children at the stage to gawk at Foxy. No, far from it. It was the security guard. Foxy was shocked. He wanted to reach out with his hook hand and grab the guard before he could get away. He wanted to stop him before he could close that door. He wanted more than anything in the world to get him before he left. But, as a rule, Foxy was not allowed to move until after the dark, when all of the children had most certainly left the premises, so Foxy was helpless as the man he hated so set foot into his beloved Pirate Cove. You're looking kind of down, Foxy, my friend. Foxy only blinked. He was allowed to do that much? Friend? What did this rule breaker know about friends? He was a meanie. Meanies don't have friends. That much Foxy was sure of. Here, brought you a little something. Cheer you up. Foxy was perfectly still as the man pulled a black pirate hat from behind his back. It had a chalk-white drawing of a smiling skull and crossbones on the front of it, the kind that Foxy used to wear all those years ago, back before this. Then, with the gentleness of an angel, the security guard placed the hat on top of Foxy's head. Hey, not bad. Looking sharp, Foxy. It was very difficult for Foxy to deny that the pirate hat felt really, really cool on his head. But he refused to believe that this man, his sworn enemy, the very reason that he and the Fazbear crew stalked all the holes at night, would ever be kind to him. Of course, that was until the man pulled out a single screwdriver. Hold still, big guy. This might tickle. There was squeaking sounds of bolts coming loose, the noise that metal makes when rubbed against other metals, and then a series of pings and clings as Foxy felt his teeth fall from his mouth. The man whistled, impressed. Foxy did have very sharp teeth after all. This is why he had been tucked This is why he had been tucked away behind the curtains in the first place. I know it's a long shot, but I'm gonna let you give these a try. Foxy wasn't sure what he meant by that, but soon after this was said, he felt a number of soft items being pressed into the slots where his teeth used to be. Foxy flexed his jaw and tried to figure out what was different, but he couldn't. See you in the morning, Foxy. And with a friendly pat on the head, the security guard left Foxy alone that night. Confused and wondering, Foxy stayed behind his curtains all night long. Triple dot. Ahoy! Foxy bellowed, staggering to and fro across the stage. The children laughed and squealed as he approached them. Foxy loved the sounds of children. Welcome, me mateys, welcome. Ye be treading through the one and only Hardy Pirate Cove. I don't know what you did, but you did it. The kids freaking love him. He just needed a little fixing up, that's all. What be this? Foxy asked with a cocked head. He wobbled over to one of the children nearest the stage. A little girl with golden pigtails, red bows in her hair. Foxy tipped his hat to her, fondly poking his head with his hook hand as he did so. And what is your name, young lass? Abigail. That'd be a fine name, Foxy laughed heartily. Now, little Abby, may I call ye Abby? Little Abby, ye best be careful here in Pirate Cove. If you try and steal any of me treasures, well, he chomped down on her small fingers with his brand new fuzzy stuffed teeth. She giggled and squirmed. Ye be walking the plank. Soft teeth? Now if he gets a little too rough, he won't hurt anyone. A little rough? You make it sound like he's alive. He's all hard. Really, all he wants to do is play pirate. And so, Foxy the Pirate, soul ridden of that hardy Pirate Cove, was happy once again. Now, Foxy didn't want to catch the security guard so much anymore. Sometimes though, when Freddy, Bonnie, and Chica weren't trying to get him into his costume, Foxy would run down the office as fast as he could, and then, just before the rule-breaking meanie could close the door, Foxy would dash inside, bite his shoulder with his soft new teeth, and give him a big Fazbear hug. The end.